So when starting a business, there's many ways that you can try and get leads, to try and get people to buy what it is that you're selling. I've personally tried a few different lead generation methods, and I want to take you through some of the pros and cons of those and what you need to know when you're trying to get leads for your business. Now, the three methods that I want to talk about, because it's the ones that I've personally tried, are cold outreach, paid ads, and organic content. I'll walk you through some of the good things about them, some of the things that you might find a bit difficult as well, and what I found difficult. And then you can try and pick which would be best for you to try if you want to try one of them, or even if you want to try a few of them. So let's get into the video. Now, the first method that I want to go through is cold outreach. This is probably one that most people would start off with. And the reason for that is the first benefit I want to talk about is it's a very cost-effective way. All you really need is just a software that you pay monthly for and a couple of domains to send the emails from, and you should be good to go. So essentially, all you need to do is gather a big list of leads, whether you can use things like Apollo.io or any other software that's very similar to that, to gather a bunch of leads that you can then start to send out emails to. Obviously, you have to cater the message specifically to who you're talking to. Now, the second pro that I want to talk about in cold outreach is that you can pick specifically who you want to message and actually send the outreach messages to. Now, what I mean by this is when you select a niche or a certain group of people that you want to try and sell to, you can be very specific with the type of people that you're going to try and message and do the outreach methods for, to try and get them to book a call with you to then sell your services to them. You don't just have to pick anyone and anything. You can be very specific with the type of industry you're messaging, the types of people, so managers, founders, CEOs. You can be very specific with who you're wanting to message, and that's a very good benefit of cold outreach. Now, the third benefit I want to talk about in cold outreach is you can book calls pretty quickly. Now, what I mean by that is when you obviously get the right messaging in your emails and send it out to the right people, as long as you can tweak those things pretty well and make sure it's catered to them where they can feel that they want to actually read your email, they can usually jump on a call with you pretty quickly. I started to notice that once I got much better at my cold outreach methods. Don't get me wrong, it takes a lot of time to make sure you get the right messaging, but you can get them on the call pretty quickly if you send it to the right people. So some other methods may take a bit longer to try and get some calls booked, but cold outreach with the right volume, you can actually start to get calls booked in pretty soon. So that's another benefit of cold outreach. So now let's get into the difficulties and cons of cold outreach. Now, the first thing is probably the standout thing, and that is the amount of volume you actually need to do for cold outreach. Now, if you think you can just send 10 or 15 messages a day on cold outreach or cold emailing, you're probably not going to get too far. These days, unfortunately, because the competition is so high and so many people are doing it, the volume needed to actually get people to respond is ridiculous. You need to send 100, 200, some people send 500 emails a day, obviously using automated softwares, but the volume you need is just too high at the moment. And it's just, for me personally, I just feel like it's just not practical enough to continuously do it at that volume and to find the right leads and to qualify them and to go through all of them to make sure they're the right type of people you want to message. So doing it at that volume, because the competition is so high, can be something that could put you off doing cold outreach methods. But yeah, these days a lot of people tend to do such a high volume that it's not that practical to go long term. And that leads me on to my second negative about cold outreach, and that is the practicality of actually doing it long term. Because of the high volume that you're doing or that you need to do because of the market, it's going to be very difficult to keep that up. It's going to be hard to really find a way that you can consistently send 200, 300, 400 emails a day. That includes obviously the follow-ups that you need to do with them. So it's something that is actually pretty difficult to make sure you maintain at a high quality and high level long term. Of course, if it's low quality and you're just sending it to anyone, you can probably do it pretty well every day. But when you want to be very specific with who you're sending it to and the niche and your messaging as well, to try and get them obviously to be, to find some interest, to want to book and speak to you and find out more, it's going to be pretty hard to keep long term. You're going to need a really, really good system in place. You're probably going to need a couple of people to help you to make sure that they're going through the lead list that you're going to generate for them. So you can probably pay like VAs or something like that. But just running all of that for a long amount of time is not that practical. And that's why you see a lot of the specialists and social media content creators that you watch now, most of them eventually moved away from cold outreach because it's just not the right play long term. Yes, you will see success at the start. You can if you do it right. But that's why you see so many people end up either reinvesting their money into ads because it's another way that they can generate leads, or posting organic content and then generating an audience and selling to them that way, because they realize that cold outreach is probably not the best way to go about it long term. And the last con I want to go through in cold outreach is that everyone is now trying it and most businesses are aware of it. So therefore, most emails are being ignored. People are automatically marking it as spam or replying and telling you to just piss off or anything like that. So you will get a lot of that. You're going to get way more rejections than you are going to get people who want to actually book a call with you or buy what it is that you're selling, because of the sheer volume that are being sent to these businesses these days. Everyone is trying to send to them. Everyone's trying to reach out to them via email, via DMs. So you're going to get a lot of people ignoring you, or a lot of people telling you to just go away and to not contact them again. So that's another thing that you can find difficult with cold outreach. Now, the second lead generation method that I want to talk about is paid ads. Now, I've only tried this a little bit. I haven't been able to actually get as much in depth with paid ads as I would like to just yet. So I can only talk about some of the brief experience that I've had with it, but I've been able to run a lot of paid ads for my clients. So I know, some of the pros and cons of paid ads in general for businesses, and it'll be pretty much the same for you. So the first pro I want to talk about with paid ads is that you can actually see quick results very quickly if you do it right. So if you launch your ads the right way with the right content and copywriting, you can actually start to see a return on investment pretty quickly, and a lot of people engaging and interacting with your ads. So when done right, you can actually see a lot of people interacting. And like I said, that will obviously generate a lot of traffic to your website or to your funnel or to book a call with you if you actually target it the right way and implement the strategies from the start in the way that's going to reach your audience in the best way possible. The second benefit of paid ads is you can actually reach a large audience in a very short amount of time. So unlike cold outreach, where you have to send such a high volume to reach so many people because it's a one-to-one outreach method, paid ads is one-to-many. So you can, by just posting that one video or that one piece of content or images as your advertisement, you can reach thousands of different people in that demographic, in that audience, or in that market very quickly. Obviously, like I mentioned in the previous point, if the ads are done right. But regardless, you can reach a big audience in a very short amount of time, because obviously you're paying the platforms to put your thing in front of people's faces. So putting your ads in front of the audience whenever they're scrolling on social media or watching videos or anything like that will obviously naturally get eyeballs on there, but it's your job to make sure it's the right type of people and people actually interacting with the ads. But a big benefit there is you can reach a lot of people in a short amount of time, because at the end of the day you're paying money to be in that position. And the third benefit, and probably the biggest one, is it's a very scalable method once you find the right formula. So on the other 2 points that I've just touched on, where you can see quick results if you do it right and you can reach a large amount of people and a big audience, when those two are dialed in correctly and you've got the right content, you've got the right copywriting, the scalable potential is huge. Essentially, if you're putting $50 a day on an ad, or $100 a day, or even $20 a day on an ad, if you want to start off small, when you get the right interaction, you're seeing the right metrics of click-through rate and people clicking on your landing page and booking calls or whatever it may be that you're trying to track. When you're happy with that percentage over a period of time, okay, you've got the right formula. Now you can just double down on that. So you can essentially double your budget, triple your budget, depending on obviously how much you want to do. But you should be getting a very similar result if you just increase that budget. So a lot of people, when they find a right working advertisement, they know they can just double what they're spending and they should be getting double the results back. But like I said, you have to make sure you've got the right formula. So definitely something to keep in mind if you try paid ads. Now, 3 difficulties of paid ads. The first one I want to talk about is that it's pretty difficult to do if you're just starting out, because most of the time you probably won't have a lot of money to spend. That's why I was mentioning that cold outreach is a more cost-effective way, but obviously that does have its difficulties too. But with paid ads, you have to spend a lot of money. So if you're tight on your budget, or you don't have much to spend, or you're just starting out, it's probably not going to be the best option for you. And many people usually don't start with paid ads for that exact reason. The second thing you need to be aware of, and it could be a difficulty with paid ads, is you need to be willing to lose money before you make money. This is just a given most of the time. Even for big businesses who have a huge budget, for the first few weeks, sometimes even few months. You have to be willing to lose money before you can start to see the return on investment and the right results. This is because you're trying to tweak and adjust your ads to make sure you're finding the right people and targeting the right audience before you start to see the right interactions and the right people buying your product or your service. But in that time where you're trying to find the right formula, obviously you're going to have to still be spending money on your ads. Therefore, you're going to have to be in a little bit of a loss before you can actually start to see the right return on investment and seeing a big profit coming your way. And then the third thing you need to be aware of, and could be a struggle with paid ads, is that competition is so high. So many people are advertising, so many businesses are putting a lot of money on paid ads, whether that be Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever it may be. People are putting a lot of money in there. A lot of businesses are focusing their attention on paid ads because they know how important content is, and they're just doing it in the form of ads. So you have to be someone who's willing to stand out. You have to do the right content. You have to do something that is going to stop people from scrolling or make sure they pay attention to what it is that you're saying in your ad. Otherwise, you're going to waste too much money. Because the competition is so high, people are getting creative. People are trying to capture as much attention as possible. So you need to make sure that you're aware that the competition is very high when you're going through paid ads. And the last lead generation method that I want to talk about is organic content. Now, some of the benefits of organic content is that you can build an audience who relate and trust you with what you're saying and what you're posting. So a really cool thing about building an audience is people who are watching you usually can relate to you in some way. Therefore, they feel like they're building a relationship with someone who's posting content about things that they can relate to in their life, or they're really enjoying, or they're trying to be like, they're aspiring to be like, or they're finding a lot of benefits from. Therefore, they trust you, they trust your opinion and what you have to say. And you can have that, really good build and a relationship with your audience because they feel that relatability to you, or they trust your word, or they trust your experiences based on what you're teaching them. The second benefit of building, so whether that be a service that you're offering, whether that be digital products, whether you want to do it through affiliate marketing, there's so many options to monetize your content once you build that audience that the other methods don't really give you. So this one, there's a lot more flexibility with what it is that you can offer because you have that audience who trust and relate to you. So due to those reasons, they will be able to obviously trust what you have to offer, trust what you're selling, and obviously as long as you offer something that is beneficial to them, they'll be willing to support you, to pay for it, or like I said, if it is something like an affiliate link, they'll want to go through you because you've been able to provide them with so much value. So there's a lot of different ways that you can look at monetizing your content with the audience that you build. And the third benefit of building an audience and having the organic content as a lead generation method is that it actually makes you stand out in your industry or niche. So when you're doing cold outreach or when you're doing paid ads, people don't really look at you as the main person for that specific service or product because they know you're just trying to do your cold outreach. Anyone can do that, or paid ads, anyone can put in money to be in front of people's faces and sell them, whatever it is that they're selling. But when you build an audience and post organic content, they can see the work of weeks, of months, of years of different content that you've been able to share and post with everyone. So therefore, you're someone who will stand out in that niche. And when someone thinks of that certain niche that you're talking about, or the industry that you're posting content on, they can put your name in relation to that because they know you're the type of person who talks about that, who posts content on it, who has the knowledge in that industry. So posting content makes you someone who would stand out in that industry. Therefore, you would probably have the advantage over someone who's just doing cold outreach because you've built that trust and that credibility over time. And the three difficulties that you need to be aware of with organic content is, the first one is that it takes time to build an audience through organic content. Unlike the other two methods where you can see results pretty quickly, building an audience is something that can take months, could take years. So you really have to put in a lot of work and you have to be very consistent to start to see that actually giving you that return on investment and seeing the potential of how you can actually get leads to your business. And then as a result of that, it leads me into my next point, where you need to put a lot of time and effort to then post content consistently and allocate the right amount of time needed to post high quality content to your audience on a consistent basis to a point where you can grow an audience. A lot of people aren't able to allocate that much time to something or to a lead generation method because, like I said, it is very time consuming. It probably is the most time consuming out of the three methods that I've spoken about today because of, you have to post 2-3 times a week, or if you're doing something like short form content, you might have to post more, maybe 4-5 times a week. So recording, editing, scripting, writing out your videos, all of that will take a lot of time. So a lot of people aren't able to commit to that. And the last point I want to make on organic content, similar to paid ads, is the competition is very high. Everyone is trying to post content. Everyone is trying to teach you something or talk about a certain experience that they have, whatever it may be. Competition is very high because posting on social media now is very accessible. You just have to have a phone, internet connection, and you can post content. So because of that reason, a lot of people are trying to do it. But the good thing about that is not many people stick to it consistently for a long amount of time. So as long as you can get past the majority of people before they usually quit, and if you stay consistent and you don't, and you make sure that you stay on top of it as much as possible, and you continuously post content and get through that difficult stage, then you will be someone who will stand out. But you have to be aware that competition is high. There will, majority of the time, 99% of the time, someone will be posting content on what you've already had an idea about. So you just have to make sure you're aware of that and just still stick to your plan regardless, because if you're going to let competition deter you, you're never going to post organic content. So just be aware of that. And to conclude, I want to just talk about, at the moment, my favorite method of what I want to do, what I want to focus on, and that is organic content. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you can probably, be aware of that because I have been posting quite consistently. But yeah, for me, I want to build an audience. I feel like there's so many benefits to that, which is why I'm focusing now all my attention on organic content. I want to provide value to you all, want you to learn from, what it is that I'm going through with my experiences, which is why organic content is my main priority. Yes, I need to be patient. I need to be consistent. I know that, and I'm willing to do that. But out of the three right now, organic content is the way I'm trying to put my full focus on. So those are the three that you need to be aware of. I hope you found this beneficial. If you are someone who's starting a business, just be aware of those pros and cons for each of those three methods. That will probably be one of the ones that you're going to be picking now moving forward anyway. So hopefully you found this useful. I really appreciate the time you've taken to watch this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.